This is Dr. Elliot Realsteen, and I have a PhD in mechanical engineering, mixology, and most importantly, a PhD in street. A well-defined axiom in the Western world is diversity. Diversity of thought, diversity of expression, diversity of opinion, and most importantly, diversity of appearance and heritage are not only celebrated, but are underscored as foundational pillars to society itself. Especially in North America, which does not have an extended history like other nations and civilizations. However, we need to be very careful and ensure that we define aspects of life in which it behooves society to embrace diversity, and conversely, aspects of life in which we need to underscore meritocracy. Institutions which diversity is paramount should be kept distinct from ones which are merit-based, and they should never intersect with one another, as this creates confusion and moreover makes the people who are trying to blur the lines between these distinct institutions and what they should value look ridiculous and hypocritical. Two examples of this are in the attempted intersection of professional sports and its promotion of diversity. Professional sports and diversity are oil and water. They do not mix together at all. Now, you will see some cases in which the lines are slightly blurred, but usually these instances are due to nepotism and are very rare in professional sport, as they are seen, correctly so, as a disgrace to the teams and league which allows it to happen. The first example of this failed attempt at diversity promotion is the Canadian Football League and their short-lived Diversity is Strength campaign, in which the players and coaches on the sidelines sported these tacky shirts before and during games. This is of the most ultimate irony, as the CFL is one of the most anti-diversity sports leagues in the entire world, as this league forces each team to hire a quota of Canadian players for their rosters. Each team must dress a minimum of 21 Canadian players on their 44-man roster, and of the 24-man starting lineup, 7 players must be Canadian. This is the apotheosis of anti-diversity in professional sports, as it excludes a plethora of eligible, high-quality players from becoming professional athletes simply because they possess the wrong passport, as opposed to the lucky 21 players on each team who do. Not only is this anti-diversity, but it is also anti-meritocracy, as it forces teams to employ and play players in prominent roles who, under normal circumstances, wouldn't even be invited to training camp, let alone make the squad and be bequeathed starting positions. This anti-diversity, anti-meritocracy rule is the reason why the quality of CFL play is so poor, and why the league is in financial peril. Many horrible football players are trotted out as professionals simply because of their place of birth. Now, talking heads from the CFL will disagree with that, but to prove my point, look through the history of the league and find one team, just one, who employed Canadian players beyond the mandated quota. The Diversity is Strength campaign fell upon deaf ears as the message emanated from a source that did not practice what it preached. The rules written into the league rulebook were anti-diversity and were the sole reason why so many slow, weak, unathletic white Canadian bodies were allowed to participate in the game, at the expense of stronger, faster, more athletic black bodies who were excluded for the simple burden of being born in the wrong country. The second instance of professional sport and diversity promotion is a conversation between two alumni of the NBA, Kevin Garnett and Jason Williams. And they are discussing the importance of cultural diversity in the NBA.
You know, we're having issues with our border in our country right now. As a country, I feel like we're in turmoil. More importantly, I think we need to all understand what our game is. So our game is bicultural, you know, and there's so many different coaches that make up our game, and that's the beauty of it, that we have so many diverse players from different coaches that come in and love one common thing, and that being this.
Yeah.
You know?
Basketball is like a bridge for like cultural exchange.
It so is. The fact that we are all conscious of what's going on in our world, man, let's stay conscious that, you know, without all this diversity, we want to make up this different types of talent and be able to come together with this right here.
That's all.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I hope we all out here paying attention. Hope we all out here doing something versus talking. You know what I'm saying? That your actions be more than your words.
It is difficult to ascertain many cogent points amongst this unintelligible ranting from these two. However, I believe the salient points they are trying to impart to the audience are that diversity and players of diverse backgrounds has made the NBA special and better, and the league would be far worse off without the people of diverse backgrounds who compete on a nightly basis in the league. To me, this is rich commentary considering the NBA is the most non-inclusive professional sports league in the entire world. To show how exclusive it is, there are no women in the league. And this is not a far-fetched notion, as some top-tier professional leagues have actually indulged in allowing women entry to compete against the men. So the NBA has a no women allowed policy. Fine. But that's 51% of the population excluded from the league. Second, the median and mean height of the average NBA basketball player is 6 feet 7 inches. Basic understanding of bell curve distribution shows that less than 1% of the world's population is 6'7" or taller, meaning 99% of the world's population would be disqualified from consideration for a minimum of 3 of the 5 available positions on the basketball court. The league places a premium on height, which, speaking from a diversity perspective, leaves many people of average height completely out of the NBA equation. In 2015, the NBA racial breakdown was as follows: 74.4% black, 23.3% white, 1.8% Latino, and 0.2% Asian. 101 players in the NBA were born outside of the United States and represented 37 countries in total. But like any statistic, one must look over the evidence a little more carefully and beyond just the headline. First of all, they counted Kyrie Irving as an international because he was born in Australia. I guess that counts, but by that definition, Steve Nash is South Africa's greatest basketball player and not Canada's. And speaking of Canada, 12 of those international players listed are Canadian, which, considering basketball players from Canada go through the American developmental process, often as early as high school, that is a bit borderline in my professional opinion. But we'll give the NBA the benefit of the doubt on that one. But Tim Duncan counted as an international because he was born on the U.S. Virgin Islands is not going to count to me. So the real number of countries represented at that time of the report in the NBA was 36, and with the United States included, 37 in total. So to summarize, the NBA is exclusively male. The majority of the positions are filled by people who comprise far less than 1% of the worldwide height distribution, is 75% black, and has a player base representing 37 out of 195 countries in the world. If this is not the sports league that is organically the most antithetical to diversity, I do not know what is. Now, do not misinterpret my words, ladies and gentlemen. I am not coming down on the NBA for these statistics. In fact, I am applauding them because it proves that to be a player in the NBA is as pure of a meritocracy as is seen in the world in any profession. Well, almost. Therefore, to make hypocritical assertions that the league is great because a few Croatian guys came in to knock down three-pointers is a joke. What makes the NBA great is the fact that only the absolute best and most physically qualified are allowed to suit up and perform on the court. They are the best and most qualified men for the job, and if they aren't, teams will go out and find someone better. That is what makes the NBA great. To highlight a few players of skin tone and country not well represented in the NBA, simply to make a subtle political point, because taking shots at the sitting president is in vogue, is below the standard of the NBA and professional sport in general, which prides itself on showcasing the best of the best because they are the best, not because of who they are, where they are from, or what they look like. Because think about it like this: diversity is not the strength of sport. Merit is, and always will be. Fools.